Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I saw some quotes floating around yesterday on social media for Charlize Theron's personal trainer. And it's kind of a big deal when the trainers of these various celebrities who are known for having nice bodies come out here and put out statements, and people read them everywhere because honestly, with them being celebrities, the things their trainers say in a public venue or in an interview oftentimes has more influence than anyone even on YouTube has, or some of the best trainers and everything out there, because of the media surrounding it, because they're celebrities. People are going to see it. And it's important that people who actually understand training or how the body adapts correct some of this nonsense when you see it. Otherwise, the general population who maybe want to start getting into shape are going to get some terrible advice that's going to slow them down. And it's no doubt that she actually has a pretty nice body, a nice physique. How much of it's genetics and diet versus her actual training style is subject to debate. But looking at what her trainer has said, I'm going to say it's going to be genetics and diet and the fact that she's physically active. The thing is, people will say things like, well, she got results, so it clearly worked. But the thing is, when you have trainers who really don't know what they're talking about, who are paid big money by these celebrities sometimes, it's not a question of if it worked, but how long it took to work. Meaning they might be giving you some advice that's going to take you 5 or 10 times as long to get the same results as something more efficient. And in the case of this guy, the first big giveaway that this individual has no clue what he's talking about is the statement I've got linked up here. Now, I'm going to link an interview down below to where he discusses some further tips, and I'll give you the biggest problem. But the first dead giveaway is when he's talking about how gripping everything wide is going to give women wide, bulky bodies, because that's what makes the body grow wide. Well, there's no anatomy and physiology to back that statement. That's not how the body works. And hypertrophy, overall hypertrophy, has to do with tension and metabolic fatigue placed upon the body. It has literally nothing to do with how wide or narrow you grip things. How wide or narrow you grip things can sometimes change the emphasis of muscles. It can make some muscles work more than others, but this idea that it's going to affect how wide you get is just absurd. How much you train your back and your delts is going to determine how wide you get, more than anything else. And women simply do not have the hormones to get particularly wide as a general rule. So it's really just absurd. And the other biggest problem is that he's falling right back into this Tracy Anderson nonsense that women who pick up anything remotely heavy are going to get big and bulky. Now, you guys have been watching, a lot of you have been watching my girlfriend Brittany's transformation. She's down over 30 pounds right now. She looks dramatically thinner all the way around, and we'll be covering her transformation further later, her overall training and diet. You guys have been watching her training on here. Now, incidentally, she does use a narrow grip on everything, but that's due to shoulder issues. But we could actually argue from a biomechanics perspective that narrow grips oftentimes have the potential to put even more muscle on you. So he doesn't understand what he's talking about. The real concern, however, is his discussion of lightweight, falling into this Tracy Anderson style nonsense of having women lift 3-pound dumbbells because they're afraid they're going to get big and bulky. So this 3 to 5 pound dumbbell thing he recommends is actually going to make it more difficult for women to reach their goals. Women who get as strong as possible on big heavy movements, barbell movements, even machines, whatever, but preferably barbell movements, are going to find it easier to lose weight, maintain their body weight, and so forth, because they are putting on a little bit of muscle mass. They're never going to put on a lot of muscle mass. Women hormonally and structurally are not capable of holding large amounts of muscle mass without throwing anabolic drugs into the mix. If you're not on steroids and growth hormone and everything else as a female, you will never get bulky. And a woman who has gotten bulky while claiming to be natural is a liar. The laws of biology will tell you that she is a liar. You don't need further proof than that. Just study biology. So this idea is absurd. And by limiting women to these really light weights, trainers like this feed into this female fear of getting bulky because of female athletes and bodybuilders they've seen who are on drugs, on hefty amounts of drugs usually, because the ones who use small amounts just get skinnier. Actually, they don't get big and bulky. But this fear that's there because of that, and this idea that women need to be waifish and weak, again, feeding into a stereotype, is actually preventing women from reaching their goals. If you were to put them under a heavy barbell, most women would lose weight, and even their arms and legs would get thinner at 3 times the rate they're doing, just because of the overall metabolism and calorie burn. It will help them burn more calories when they're doing cardio. And this is a massive detriment to females who want to get into shape to tell them nonsense like this. people who say this sort of thing are not only misleading people, but they're not worth the money anyone's paying them because they don't actually know what they're talking about. And these things need to be rebutted when celebrity trainers get up and spew nonsense like this, because it's actually hurting the average person in reaching their goals. It's actually making it more difficult because of this bad advice they're giving, or misleading information. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.